All right, Algebra 9.6. Make sure your books are open to page 394 and you have your notes that I gave you out ready to go. Here we go. Dividing polynomials. Sorry, still trying to figure this out a little bit. Okay, so I'm just starting kind of down at the bottom of the kind of explanation at the beginning of 9.6 where it says, when a polynomial is multiplied by a monomial, we multiply the monomial or we distribute the monomial to each term. The division of a polynomial by a monomial is similar. Our rule that we're going to be working with is to divide a polynomial by a monomial. This is where you fill in the blanks. Divide each term of the polynomial by the monomial. Okay, so if we have a plus b plus c, that is our dividend. Okay, that is our dividend. It's what is going to be divided. And we are dividing that entire trinomial by a monomial, in this case d, which is also known as our divisor. That is the same as dividing each one of the terms by that monomial. So a plus b plus c divided by d is equal to a over d plus b over d plus c over d. Let's look at this in action. Example number 1. Divide 12x squared plus 20x by 4x. 12x squared plus 20x over 4x. We have our dividend on the top and our divisor on the bottom. Make sure you divide each term on the top by the monomial on the bottom. So 12x squared divided by 4x, 12 divided by 4 is 3. X squared divided by x, remember our quotient rule of exponents. So x squared divided by x is x to the 2 minus 1. Remember, there's a 1 here. We just don't write it, okay? So x to the 2 minus 1 is x to the 1, or just x, okay? Now divide 20x by 4x. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. X divided by x is 1. We're done. You can do a quick check on this simply by taking your divisor, 4x, and multiplying by your quotient or your answer. Okay, distributive property, 4x times 3x is 12x squared. 4x times 5 is 20x. We arrived back at our dividend. We know we did it correctly. Example number 2, 8x cubed plus 16x squared minus 4x divided by negative 4x. Divide each term by that negative 4x. So 8x cubed divided by negative 4x. I'm just going to go ahead and jot that 1 in there so we don't lose track of it. 8 divided by negative 4 is negative 2. X cubed divided by x is x to the 3 minus 1. So that becomes x squared. Okay. Now we have 16 divided by negative 4 gives us a negative 4. So that is minus 4. X squared divided by x, x to the 2 minus 1. So that's just x to the 1, or x. Negative 4x divided by negative 4x is 1. So we don't even, just kidding, yes we do. I just don't know why I was about to say that. We do need to write the 1. Okay, negative 4x divided by negative 4x is 1. It's not 0. Make sure you indicate that. And there's your answer. Okay, you can do a quick check of that, and I would recommend checking. As always, I know you guys never do, but I would recommend checking just to make sure you're doing it correctly, especially in this weird season of when we're not going to have a lot of face-to-face time. Okay, so distributive property. Take that outside term and multiply it by each one of the terms in the parentheses. Negative 4x times negative 2x squared gives us a positive 8. X times x squared gives us x to the 1 plus 2, which is x cubed. Negative 4x times negative 4x gives us a positive 16 because negative 4 times negative 4 gives us positive 16. X times x to the 1, plus 1 is x squared. 1 times negative 4x is just negative 4x. We have arrived back at our dividend. We know we did it correctly. But what if we are dividing a polynomial by a polynomial? Okay, so the first two examples we did were a polynomial divided by a monomial. Very straightforward, very simple. Okay, we can divide a polynomial by another polynomial. In this section, we will only be dividing a polynomial by a binomial. So our divisors will only be up to a binomial in this section. Okay, how do we do it? We are going to use long division. Okay, we're going to go back to long division. Okay, and we're going to use the same principles that you learned in long division way back in 4th and 5th grade, okay, to tackle dividing polynomials, right? I'm going to be changing colors a lot so that you guys can keep track of what we're doing, all right? Example number 3, divide x squared plus 6x minus 9 by x plus 2. The first thing we need to do is rewrite this as a long division problem. Remember, your dividend goes under the house, if that's how you learned it, okay? And your divisor goes outside, so that's how I've written this, okay? So we have x squared plus 6x minus 9 being divided by x plus 2. The first step we are going to do is we are going to divide the first term of the dividend by the first term of the divisor, okay? So we're going to say, what is x squared divided by x? X squared divided by x, okay? So that's just x to the 2 minus 1, so that is x. You write that x over the x squared in the quotient, okay? Now, we're going to, just like long division, we're going to take this x and we are going to multiply it by the divisor, okay? So we get x times x plus 2. So first we have to do x times x, okay? X times x gives us x squared. X times 2 gives us 2x. Just like long division, from here, you're going to subtract. Okay? X squared minus x squared is 0. You can write that 0 if you want. You don't have to, right? Then you have 6x minus a positive 2x, okay? Because here we have some parentheses. So this negative needs to come into here, all right? It's as if we're multiplying everything by negative 1, right? So we get 6x minus 2x is a positive 4x. Just like in long division, we're now going to bring down the next term. Here comes 4x minus 9. Now what we're going to do is we are going to divide 4x minus 9 by the first term of our divisor, okay? Same thing, for always dividing by the first term of the divisor, okay? So we're going to divide 4x by x, okay? 4x divided by x is 4. The x's cancel out, okay? Write that 4 in your quotient, okay? Here we have 4. Now, take that 4, just like with our x, and multiply it by the entire divisor. So now we're going to do 4 times x plus 2, okay? 4 times x plus 2. 4 times x, okay, is 4x. 4 times 2 is 8. And we are going to subtract that whole thing, just like in long division. 4x minus 4x is 0. Again, you can write it. You don't have to. Then we have negative 9 minus 8. Okay, negative 9 minus 8 gives us minus 17, okay? Minus 17. Once you get here and you don't have any other terms to bring down, okay? This becomes a part of the last term in your quotient. There's nothing else, there's no other terms that we can bring down, okay? So we take our remainder, negative 17 is our remainder. We take our remainder and we write it up here, it's a negative 17, and we have to divide that remainder by our divisor. So it's a funky looking term, okay? It's a funky looking term, but it's the same way that we would write a remainder in long division. Whenever we do a remainder in long division, as a fractional component, we take that remainder and we divide it by the divisor. We're doing the same thing here. This is just a touch more complicated of a check to make sure that we got it right, but I'm going to show you how to do it. X plus 2, take your divisor and multiply it by your quotient. X plus 4 minus 17 over x plus 2. Okay, that's the same as x plus 2 times x plus 4 minus, not minus yet, plus x plus 2 times negative 17 over x plus 2. Okay? Use your rules that you can use, all right? X plus 2 times x plus 4, x squared plus 6x plus 8. That's back in FOIL, okay? I'm not going to go through that right now, okay? But that's back in FOIL. X squared plus 6x plus 8. Look at what happens in the second right here. We have x plus 2 times negative 17 over x plus 2. So we get to cancel out those x plus 2's, and we're just left with negative 17. Simplify where you can. X squared doesn't have a like term. 6x doesn't have a like term, but 8 minus 17 is negative 9. Okay, guess what? We came right back to our dividend. We know we did it correctly. Okay, here are your rules for dividing polynomials. You can read through those. You can have them just handy for you as you move through the lesson. Okay, example number 4. Here we have a polynomial with 5 terms being divided by a binomial. It's going to take some steps, but it's okay. We can do it. X minus 1, 2x to the 4th minus x cubed plus 5x squared plus 9x minus 6. Here we go. First term divided by the first term of our binomial. 2x to the 4th divided by x. 2x to the 4th over x is 2x cubed. Write that in your quotient and then multiply 2x cubed by everything here, x minus 1. Okay, 2x cubed times x is 2x to the 4th. 2x cubed times negative 1 is negative 2x cubed. And you're going to subtract that whole thing. Okay, 2x to the 4th minus 2x to the 4th is 0. Negative x cubed, remember there's a 1 there, so negative 1x cubed minus a minus 2x cubed. So that's going to be negative 1x cubed plus 2x cubed. Okay, that is going to give us a positive x cubed. Bring down your next term, 5x squared. Okay, now divide your first term here by the first term in your binomial. X cubed divided by x is x squared. Okay, so here plus x squared, take that x squared, multiply it by x minus 1. Okay, x squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 1, negative x squared. Subtract all of that. X cubed minus x cubed is 0. 5x squared minus a minus x squared. So that's 5x squared plus x squared gives us 6x squared. Bring down your next term, 9x. Okay, divide the first term here by the first term here. Okay, 6x squared divided by x gives us 6x. Okay, so plus 6x right here. Take your 6x, multiply it by the entire x minus 1. 6x times x, 6x squared. 6x times negative 1 minus 6x, and subtract. 6x squared minus 6x squared, 0. 9x minus a minus 6x is 9x plus 6x. So we get 15x. Bring down the last term of your polynomial, that is a minus 6. Divide 15x by x, okay? So 15x divided by x is equal to 15. The x's cancel, okay? So add 15 up here. Take your 15. That's a lot of arrows. Multiply it by x minus 1, okay? 15 times x, 15x. 15 times negative 1, or minus 1, minus 15. Subtract that whole thing. 15x minus 15x is 0. Negative 6 plus 15 is 9. Here's our remainder. We have no more terms to bring down. Take that 9 in your last term and divide it by your divisor, and you are done. You are done. Okay. Last one, example number 5. Divide x cubed minus 8 by x minus 2. What do you think might be missing here? Okay, we need to have all of the possible degrees of the terms, okay, represented in our polynomial. All right, we need to have, if we start with an x squared and then we have an 8, which remember is like negative 8 to the x, or times x to the 0, right? X to the 0 is just 1. So we have an x cubed term, and we in essence have an x to the 0 term, okay? You need to have an x to the 2 represented also, and an x to the 1 represented also in order to make the long division work, okay? How are we going to do that? Check it out. It's not hard, okay? X minus 2, x cubed, okay? Plus 0x squared. There is no x squared term, right, in the x cubed minus 8. We just have to indicate it here. We have to indicate an x squared term in order for our long division to work. So we do 0x squared because 0 times x squared is 0, okay? Same thing, we do 0x to the 1 here, and then we do our minus 8. Now we can work through our process. X cubed divided by x cubed divided by x cubed over x. Hopefully this is getting very routine at this point, okay, is x squared. Multiply x squared by the entire x minus 2 binomial, okay? So x squared times x cubed. X squared times negative 2 is negative 2x squared. Subtract x cubed minus x cubed is 0. Now we have 0x squared minus 2x squared. So that is 0x squared plus 2x squared. 2x squared, bring down your next term, 0x to the 1, okay? 2x squared divided by x is 2x. 2x, take that 2x, multiply it by x minus 2. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 2 is negative 4x. We are subtracting all of that. 2x squared minus 2x, that goes away. 0x to the 1, or 0x, minus a minus 4x, okay? So that gives us a positive 4x. Bring down your minus 8. Now divide 4x by x, the first term in the binomial. 4x divided by x. X's go away. we're just left with 4 is 4. Multiply 4 times the entire binomial, x minus 2. 4 times x, 4x. Okay, 4 times minus 2, minus 8. Subtract that. We have 4x minus 4x. Okay, that's 0. And then we have negative 8 minus a negative 8. So that's negative 8 plus 8. So that also is 0. Okay, so there's no remainder. So this x squared plus 2x plus 4 is our final answer. There's no remainder. Okay, I think I said this was the last example. Sorry, it's not. We have one more. Okay, example number 6. Divide, and I'm just going to go ahead and write it in my house as I'm doing this. 3a cubed, okay? And notice in your book it says 3a cubed plus a minus 5a squared plus 2. You have to arrange your polynomial in the correct order, descending order, okay, of your exponents, or else you will get something very off. So 5a squared plus a plus 2, and we are going to divide that. In our book, it says divide it by 1 plus 3a. Make sure you write that in the correct order as well. 3a plus 1. Now work through your division. Divide 3a cubed by 3a. 3a cubed by 3a is a squared. A squared. A squared times 3a, 3a cubed. A squared times 1 plus a squared. Subtract all of that. 3a cubed minus 3a cubed, that goes away. Negative 5a squared minus a squared gives us a minus 6a squared. Bring down your a. Oops, there we go. Negative 6a squared divided by 3a is negative 2a. Minus 2a. Do your multiplication. Negative 2a times 3a is negative 6a squared. Negative 2a times 1, negative 2a. We are going to subtract all of that. Negative 6a squared minus a minus 6a squared. That cancels out. A minus a minus 2a, so that's a plus 2a, gives us 3a. Bring down your 2. 3a divided by 3a is 1. 1 times 3a is 3a. 1 times 1 is 1. Subtract all of that. 3a minus 3a is 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. There's your remainder. Okay, there's your remainder. No one else to bring down. Write your remainder as a fraction up here, 1 over your divisor. And you are done. That is the end of this lesson. Go forth on your homework.